My earnest thanks to Professor Chair Maruti, my esteemed colleague in my own department, who has been associated with me for more than 25 years. And we are working together on many projects that has been offered by both the UGC and the University of Mysore and various other agencies across the country. For just briefing my biodata, and of course, I don't know to what extent I am entitled to get appreciation from Professor T.R. Maruti by the words offered by him in appreciation of my biodata. Anyway, during the course of our teaching profession, we need to take up many aspects that includes teaching, project, presentation of papers, and also writing of articles, apart from what has been assigned by the University of Mysore and the government of Karnataka. Friends, is it audible? Is it audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Please mute yourselves. Mute. Of course, when I just go through the participant name and the photos, majority of the participants are here, who also happens to be my students, and I know to some extent as far as the other participants are concerned. Anyway, the main thrust area of this 16th refresher course offered by UGC Human Resource Development Center, Mysore, University of Mysore, is human rights and vulnerable sections. And so far, you have listened to various lectures offered by various stalwarts, legal luminaries, law experts. That includes even the Professor P. Shurbat, Professor Sudesh, and then Vasudev Murthy, Nadgowda, Shashikala Gurupur, and David Ambrose on many areas of which deals with the vulnerable sections. And of course, the term vulnerable section and the exploited people might have been already discussed under various perspectives by various legal experts and the professors. In this technical session, I just wanted to enlighten and offer discussions to all the participants with respect to the Indian Constitution and inclusiveness. The main reason behind selection of this particular topic was that I had a unique opportunity to serve as a director of Center for the Study of Social Exclusion and Inclusive Policy between 2010 to 2015, and which compelled me to study various facet, aspect, nature, feature of the social exclusiveness that is prevailing in our country and also in the world as well. In the world as well. As far as the introduction is concerned, as it is being shown in the second PPT, it is said that man was a nomadic in nature. Comparatively, he is physically and mentally strong. And nature itself has not provided equal opportunity and facilities. This is one important thing I just wanted to enlighten, because we have taken up various projects by virtue of the nature, by virtue of the profession, by virtue of being myself, or by virtue of my religion, or by virtue of my sex, or by virtue of my profession, and by virtue of my caste, and by virtue of my region. I may be subject to exclusion from the mainstream of the society in the country as a whole. This is very, very important. For example, you can make the lifestyle that is available in transitional area and a plain area. Now, I will just also touch upon some Kannada also. Malnadu Pradesh, Mate Bailu Sime, illi. You can just imagine that, in spite of the fact that various programs have been launched by both the central government and the state government in order to prevent the migration from one place to another place. In a plain area or in Bailu Sime, for example, from Gulbarga, Raichur, people used to migrate to various other places, for example, Goa, Mumbai, and Pune, in search of job. Especially they start in the month of December. And they will come back to the respective native after the arrival of the monsoon, as the case may be. That means, if everything goes well, if water source is available in a very commendable way in any area for the matter, various commercial activities can be seen. People move from one place to another places for various purposes. Some people move and migrate in search of a job, and some people move for the purpose of higher education, as the case may be. Man is always inclined to enjoy the concept of possession and the ownership. We know that possessing something, ownership of any materials, is just only for a short span of period. Nevertheless, we used to possess, and I used to conquer everything. I used to own everything. Though our values and the philosophies are not allowed, as the case may be. And the concept of mine and thine, I mean to say, this belongs to me, this belongs to my children, and I must earn the property. Not only for myself, but also for the so-called my children, as the case may be. We are living in a society. So if you just look at the definition of society and a caste, group of people, that means for a society, group of people who share common culture occupy and a particular territorial areas and feel themselves to constitute a unified and a distinct entity, a common culture. I'm just wanted to make it very clear. Culture plays very vital role. My dress culture also plays very vital role. It's depending upon the environment. Food is also a culture. Food is also a culture. And it is depending upon the what food item is available for the purpose of survival. For the purpose of survival. For example, in Bengal, everybody offers non-vegetarian food on the occasion of their marriage. For example, in Karnataka, nobody offers non-vegetarian food on the eve of marriage, strictly speaking. That's the problem. Because I just inquired into it. How come you are offering? They were earlier pure vegetarians. But you can remember that Bengal was the victim of the Bengal famine. In the early 1890s. That led them to consume whatever is available. This is what actually it says that. So it's a kind of a culture, and there will be unified and a distinct entity will be there. Diversity is there. You just think from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. You can say that different type of people enjoying the different culture, enjoying the different customs, enjoying the different style of living, depending upon their economic conditions and economic status, depending upon their social status, depending upon their political status, diversity can be seen. Diversity can be seen. Contentness may be different. It varies, philosophically speaking. That means satisfaction in the life of a person may be different. For example, a poor fellow may have a huge contentment in his life, whereas a rich person may not enjoy the contentment or the satisfaction in his life. So that is a relative subject, strictly speaking. That's a relative subject. Unfortunately, since the time immemorial, we are being actually, there prevails varnas. Based upon which, now, for example, it may be Brahmin, it may be Kshatriya, it may be Vaishyas, or it may be Shudras. And then again, Ati Shudras are also there. That's what actually I just wanted to stress upon. Ati Shudras are also there. So overall, those Ati Shudras. In fact, the concept of exclusiveness, not only particularly pertinent to the poor people or Shudras or Ati Shudras. It's a doctrine which is applicable invariably to all the people. He may be poor or the exploited people or a person, irrespective of the fact that they belongs to any caste, creed, religion, and so on, as the case may be. Even amongst the Christian and Muslims, casteism can be seen. This is one important thing. That's what actually we have identified through our research work. For example, some conversions are being actually taken place. Now, for example, in Karnataka, hot discussion is going on because Karnataka comes out with a proposal that they wanted to, the ruling party wanted to enact Anti-Conversion Act. And some people are opposing it, some people are actually welcoming it, as the case may be. And some people claims that conversion is being done forcibly. Conversion is being done forcibly. Some people claims that no. It is not being done forcibly. It is being taken place with volition. It is being taken with volition. I'm just making it a point. Volitions. So it is happening. Now, for example, it may be vulnerable sections, as the case may be, or Dalits. They wanted to get converted to Christianity or, for example, Islam, as the case may be. For example, in North Karnataka and in South Canada, even there, casteism is prevailing amongst the converted Christians. Now, for example, if a family belongs to certain caste, get converted to Christianity, in the nearby church, such person and such family members will be offered with a separate seating arrangement for the purpose of prayer, for the purpose of offering prayer. Look at it. This is exclusiveness. This is exclusiveness. For example, if a touchable get converted into Christianity, when he wanted to offer conversion, if he wanted to offer prayer, a separate seating arrangement can be seen. That means this is available both in Islam and in Christianity. This is what actually. So people belong to Scheduled Caste tribe wanted to go for conversion because they wanted to get rid of the untouchability and other kinds of exploitations. This is what actually I just wanted to make it very clear. Now here, by earmarking the separate seating arrangements, they have been excluded from the main purview of the society. Now, in order to understand the inclusiveness, we must understand what is social exclusion first. We must understand what is social exclusions. So the social exclusion was first originated in Europe. It was relating to the policy which focuses on those living in deprived areas, poor housing, inadequate social services, weak political voice, and a lack of decent work. All these combine to create experience of marginalizations. Please make note of it. So those who are living in deprived areas, it may be a slum area, or it may be an area where civic communities has not been offered and sanctioned by the government for one or the other reasons, or it may be poor housing. There may not be water facilities. There may be a lack of pakka housing. There may be lack of drainage facilities. You can just see that if the water facilities is not provided, or a potable water is not provided by the government, what will be the consequences? Or if the drainage facilities is not provided by the government, what will be the consequences? And this is what actually it says. Or any other poor services. It may be a road, or it may be any other services. For example, you can make a reference to the report submitted by Nanjundappa committee from the perspective of identifying the backward areas. You can just make it clear. Now, for example, in a most advanced area, you will get bank facilities, you will get post office facilities, you will get health center, you will get various other services that can be offered by the government. Whereas in an area where all these civic services have been deprived, the bank facilities will not be there. bank services will not be there, postal services will not be there, or the civic services will not be there. They will be deprived of all these things. And don't you think that this is a kind of an exclusion? And this will lead to the violation of their fundamental rights, as the case may be. A question always answers us. And this will lead all such people or a sect of the persons called as marginalizations. Marginalizations. Amartya Sen, you know that Amartya Sen explained social exclusions based upon the following ideas of functioning. In order to overcome the social exclusion, one must have a healthy body. One must have a sound education. One must have a self-respect. And one must have a capabilities to acquire the minimum basic needs. I just wanted to look and interpret the exclusiveness from the economic point of view instead of interpreting from the constitutional point of view. Because Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was basically an economist, and it was also accepted by Amartya Sen that he was very much influenced by the theories propounded by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So, if I'm not economically viable, no, for example, what is the definition of the term poverty? What's the definition of the term poverty? This is just blend of everything, because our constitution is cannot be confined only to a legal document. Please make note of it. Our constitution, for the first time, it was declared as a social document. Granville Williams made it very clear. It's one of the finest social document on the earth, as the case may be. Now here, it is said that in order to overcome the social exclusions, there should be a healthy body. Now you need to say that what is health? What is health? Then as per the definition offered by World Health Organizations, go back to the year 1963, it is said that the term health does not mean that just only the absence of diseases. Please make note of it. It is very clear in the definition. So the term health does not mean that it's just absence of diseases. For example, it is me. If I am not actually suffering from any diseases, it does not mean that I am a healthy man on the earth. It further explains and offer the definition that everybody in the society, not only physically, should be mentally so strong. This is very, very important. So both physical health and physical strongness and the mental strongness together constitute a healthy body. In fact, if you just abide by the definitions offered by the World Health Organizations, nobody is possessing the healthy body, as the case may be. So now the poverty. Poverty literally means what actually it is. When a person is unable to access to the basic minimum needs, please make note of this is an economic interpretations. When a person is unable to access the basic minimum facilities which is required for his survival, then it is known as poverty. Many such people are there. And the term poverty, if you make reference to the Tendulkar Committee report, please make note of it. This is very, very important from the point of understanding. If you make refer to the Tendulkar Committee report, the term poverty has been very exhaustively defined. And the term poverty is also dependent upon the economic conditions of an individual, and it varies from one generation to another generation. It varies from one generation to another generation. Now, for example, our generations, we used to stress upon the government that basic facilities means food, cloth, shelter. Food, cloth, shelter. Roti, kapda, aur makan, as the case may be. Now the present generations are not like that. The present generations are not like that. That means they wanted to include everything, and they wanted to increase the responsibility of the government to overcome the poverty. So if the healthy body is not there, and if education is not there, or if anything incapability to access certain things are there, then there will be no self-respect. All these aspects would amount to social exclusions in the society. So lack of self-respect may be for many things. Lack of self-respect for many things, as the case may be. It may be a caste or something else, or it may be a sex, or it may be a problem relating to the transgender, as the case may be. So now here it is said that the overall definition of an exclusionist says that it's an outcome of the multiple deprivation that prevent individual or groups from participating fully in the economic, social, and political life of the society in which they live. This is very, very important. In a society, we are all living. But there are certain deprivations. I am not fully participation in all the economic activities, all the political activities, all the social activities or societal activities. That made me to make a comparison with others. With others. It's nothing but a detachment of an individual or a group of person or a family from the mainstream of the society. As the case may be. So now here it says that causes for social exclusion. In Europe, it is entirely different. I'm just making a comparison with that of the Indian situation. In Europe, it may be unemployment, it may be poverty, even in the developed countries, as the case may be. But in India, social exclusion is entirely different. Apart from unemployment, apart from poverty, it is the problem of a caste, problem of a sex, problem of religion, problem of disability. All these things will be a vital factor for the purpose of social exclusion in any society for the matter. In fact, on many occasions, caste will be a decisive factor and a deciding factor to know the fate of an individual. Howsoever he may be, in a country like India, caste will be the very decisive factor. And also it says that in our country, for many reasons, it's for example, for the prevalence of the male-dominated society, everywhere. Now you mean to say that you make a reference to First Amendment that has been made to the Indian constitutions, which offers the land reforms, and then series of land reforms have been actually made. That means land reforms is also one of the inclusive measures for the inclusive growth through which economic growth can also be achieved. Or, for example, the Tenancy Act, which was enacted during the Prime Minister of the then Prime Minister, Honorable Indira Gandhi, that was also an inclusive measures. That was also an inclusive measures, as the case may be. Or, for example, as it is available, it may be an affirmative action to change the circumstances from the social exclusions. And there is one important aspect I just wanted to put forth this before this August Assembly. See, the reservation that is being offered to every vulnerable sections is one of the affirmative actions of the government under the Indian constitutions. That itself is not everything. Let me make it very clear. So it is said that social exclusion can be combated through many aspects. So offering reservations either by virtue of Article 15, Clause 3, Article 15, Clause 4, again Article 16, Clause 3, Article 16, Clause 4, Article 16, Clause 4A, and again further it goes 94th Amendment Act, and again by virtue of 118 Amendment Act and the 75th Amendment Act, as the case may be. It is one of the measures of affirmative actions. Please make note of it. It is one of the measures. No. Let me make it. Let me complete it. Please listen.
No, sir. No question, sir. Have you started running your slides, sir? Only in first slide it is there.
Yeah, it is there.
Only first slide is visible. Indian Constitution and inclusiveness.
I see. Slides are not coming now.
No, sir. Slides are not running.
One second. I will call the individual. Hey, Barapalli Baro. Hey, Une.
Sir, Ramesh sir.
One second. Hey, Rama. Ali slides on the ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್
ಸರ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೋ ಅಂತ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್
ವೇಟ್
yes sir
now it is okay sir
yes sir
okay ಇದು right
ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್
ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
ಹೌದು
ಬಿಡಿ now I'm coming to that state, the definition of a state and its obligations. Now what is actually the state? Various definitions can be seen, but state as it is explained and defined by Thomas Hobbes is that state is an organization which fulfills the legitimate expectation of the people. Let me make it very clear. State is an organization which fulfills the legitimate expectation of the people in the society. That means, so what is legitimate expectations? As it was explained in Leviathan by Thomas Hobbes, it says that the legitimate expectations varies from one generation to another generations. The demand of the people varies from one generation to another generations, as the case may be. So, without a state, all the developmental work cannot be actually taken place. Now, for example, the definition is entirely when you made a reference to the explanation offered by Karl Marx. Karl Marx to the term the state. He says that state is an organization which has been conceived to protect the haves at the cost of the have-nots. Please make note of it. At the cost of the have-nots. That means the concept of a state has been conceived to protect the haves at the interest and the cost of the have-nots. If the struggle between or if the differences between the haves and the have-nots, or if have-nots become haves, this is one important thing, or if the labor becomes part and parcel of the management, or if the ownership of all the factories or any other things as enterprises shift over to the employees and the laborers, the concept of state will wither away. I'm just making it very clear. Please make note of it. The concept of state will wither away. Wither away. Now, this is one important question I just wanted to make it. If the concept of equality is available, state concept itself is not necessary for us. ಸಮಾನತೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದ್ಧತೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬೇಕಾಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. Why we are all actually forcing the state to look for a solutions against the inequality, because we are not the beneficiaries of the equalities. We are not the beneficiaries of equality, because man always struggled for equal opportunity. I need equal opportunity. I need equal treatment. I need equal treatment. In fact, I always, because the human tendency is like that, philosophically speaking and psychologically speaking. People may, for example, from the perspective of a philosophy, we can say that, hey, you can attain the satisfaction and the contentment with the things you possess. But it is not so. It is not so. In a society, I always make a comparison with the economic, political, and a social status of others. ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಯಾಕೆ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮುಂದುವರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆರ್ಥಿಕವಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಯಾಕೆ ಮುಂದುವರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ರಾಜಕೀಯವಾಗಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಮುಂದುವರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕವಾಗಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದುವರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಸಂಸಾರ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕುಟುಂಬದವರು ಯಾಕೆ ಮುಂದುವರೆದಿಲ್ಲ, why I have been marginalized. And this is a struggle to achieve the social inclusions, wherein everybody fights against the social exclusions. Please make note of it. We always make a comparison. It may be in any faculty for the matter, or for example, you may be faculty in any one of the colleges or law colleges, as the case may be. You always make a comparison. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಕೇರಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು, I don't know if I am correct, the retirement age is 58. The retirement age is 58 for teachers. And then we are enjoying the 60 years for the government employees, and for the professors of university, it is 62 years. So here, the people from Kerala and the people from employees from central government, state government always make a comparison with that of the professors of the university. Why they are enjoying 62 years of retirement age? Why not me? Don't I think that it's a kind of an exclusion? Then that's how I make a comparison with that. It cannot be so happened in case of animals. It cannot be so happened in case of animals. They say that, for example, a wild animal, when it is hungry, it goes for hunting, and it will hunt an animal and eat, and it will sleep. And that wild animal will be active only when it is hungry. Let me make it very clear. Until that, it will not be active. It will not be active. So in order to overcome the social exclusiveness or any other exclusiveness, there are certain attributes of inclusions as it is identified by Amartya Sen. They are known as 4 attributes of inclusiveness. 4 attributes of inclusiveness. One is opportunity should be created to earn and increase their income over time. Now, this is very, very important. Then we always rely upon the state. So Karl Marx says that each according to his capacity, please make note of it, each according to his capacity should work to earn his livelihood. But in order to earn the livelihood, please make note of it, a conducive atmosphere should be created by the state. This is known as an opportunity. Now, for example, human resources. India enjoys very huge human resources when compared to the other countries. But in order to make use of human resources, the state should create the opportunities. Avakashagalana sustisbeku, and that is the primary duty of the government. This is the foremost thing that was offered by Amartya Sen. That's what actually, when you made a reference to Article 39, Clause 3 of the Indian Constitution, it is available. Capability. Capability is nothing but is the economy providing the people to create enhance the capability. That means you must increase the capability of an individual and instill the confidence. You must instill the confidence by offering the various opportunities to all the people. The government and the state should create an opportunity that everybody is capable of earning his livelihood, for not only the livelihood, in order to increase the income over a time. For such a capability should also be created. Access to the economy. That is the economy providing the means, being opportunities and capabilities together. So if I am unable to access to the various facilities offered by the state, then I may be the worst victim of non-accessibility. So when opportunity, capability, accessibility actually offered by the government, which is foremost attributes of a inclusiveness, then the security may be achieved. The security is the economy that is providing the people to protect themselves against the temporary or of a permanent loss, as the case may be. So I mean to say that I must feel secured. It may be any kind of a securedness, that's different matter. But if you are economically secured, you can redress the other problem. As I've already made it very clear that importance and definition of the state, legitimate expectation, what actually Karl Marx said. Now, the one important thing is that, is state a necessary evil? A question comes before us. Especially some economist, a classical economist, is of the opinion that after the establishment of the WTO, the importance of the state is being decreased substantially. You can just imagine that, for example, as the case may be. So, after India embraced the globalizations, liberalization of economy, people were not forcing to depend more upon the state, Now, for example, as it is said that for the past 15 years in Karnataka or elsewhere, there is no public appointment. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ after lapse of I think 13 years, post has been actually announced, as the case may be. That means on the one hand, as a part of globalization, as a part of liberalizations, privatization is also taking place. If everything is subject to privatizations, don't you think that the concept of a state as defined by Karl Marx would wither away? That's what actually I just wanted to put it before this August Assembly. Then why you want to rely more upon the state? Why you want to rely more upon the state? As the case may be. Earlier, we were against the privatizations. We were against the globalization. We were against the liberalizations. Now, from 1995 onwards, after the establishment of the WTO, the concept of a state is slowly ruining and it's losing its importance. It's low. Now you tell me that whether state is a necessary evil or not. A day may come, Now, even in the defense area also, it is also subject to privatizations. Everything is subject to outsourcing. We never ever heard the phrase called outsourcing earlier about 30 or 40 years back. Now it is said that it is outsourcing. Hey, you can go for outsourcing, as the case may be. That means the importance of a state is coming down, as the case may be. A day may come where state may wither away, as the case may be. Now you meant to say that from the perspective of the social exclusiveness, justice must be ensured by the state. Justice must be ensured to the state, by the state, for the poor, vulnerable and neglected. As I've already made it very clear, who is a poor fellow, who is a vulnerable section, who is a neglected person. And we had an opportunity when I was a director of a social exclusion and inclusive policy. ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಮೂವಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಜೈ ಭೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮೂವಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. It's a fate of a nomadic people. And the nomadic usually means, that's why in the first slide itself I made it very clear. Man is a nomadic in nature. That means they're like a gypsy. Some people are there, nomadic. Semi-nomadic are also there. Indigenous people are also there. Primitive society people are also there. In fact, it was said that in the census of 2011, in the census report of 2011, more than 1.5% of the total populations have been excluded from the purview of the census report. And they have been denied of all those things, including the Aadhaar. They are not possessing any identification card, like a voter list. Now, for example, if there is no voting list or voter list is there, no politician will come forward to help you, as the case may be. And they are the most vulnerable. They are the most vulnerable, and they are the most neglected. It is said that usually justice should be done by the state without being demanded by the people, by understanding their problem. That is the true meaning of the justice. I am not, so no, for example, I may belongs to a vulnerable sections. I may belongs to neglected sections. That's different matter. I am not supposed to demand the state to give something, some facilities, because I am neglected, because I am vulnerable. No. The pulses of such poor people, the pulses of such vulnerable sections, the pulses of such neglected people must be understood suo motu by the state. This is what actually justice means. And justice is just only when the state understands its responsibility in a very exhaustive manner that may include economic, political, and social justice. Please make note of it. I am not dealing this aspect purely on legal aspect. I am not dealing this particular aspect purely on legal aspect. This is a blend of economics, political science, sociology, and also psychology to some extent, as the case may be. Now it is said that justice must be rendered without being demanded by the people. And they have to understand what's the problem of the people who are vulnerable. Only then the concept of human rights can be said to have enjoyed by these vulnerable and neglected people. Otherwise not. Otherwise, it will be a gross violation of the human rights. It will be gross violation of the human rights. Because vulnerable sections are also voiceless. Usually, a state cannot actually expect any kind of a demand by the poor people or poor person, because he is a very voiceless person. Is a very voiceless person. As it is said that. Now it is said that now you come to the Indian constitutions. Ambedkar, as I have already made it very clear, was basically an economist. Just wanted to, I have made it very clear, Granville Williams, that Indian constitution is a social document, apart from the legal document, as the case may be. And whatever the interpretations you may offer, whatever the definition you may offer to the constitutions, if you just look at the preamble of the constitution, it says that Indian constitution is an inclusive constitution. Inclusive constitution. One man, one vote, irrespective of his status in the society. One man, one vote, irrespective of his status in the society. He may be a rich compared with the poor person. Nevertheless, a rich person also has been actually given costing of only 1 vote. And then a poor person was also actually provided with costing of only 1 person. Article 14 says that. It says that. Equality. I'm not going to explain it. Equality before the law and equal protection of the law. But I am of the opinion that equality must be prevailed only amongst the equals. Please make note of it. Equality must be prevailed only amongst the equals, not amongst the unequals. This is what actually I just wanted, and this has been made very clear by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly debates. There should not be equality between the rich and the poor. And this is the basis for any kind of a social justice that can be a matter of a policy by the state. Samanaralli samanate irbeku, asamanaralli alla. Now the question comes before us. Unless the discrimination is prohibited, equality cannot be. That's what actually I think this is a right time for all of us to say that Professor P. Ishwar Bhattordu the book ide, the interrelationship between the part 3 and part 4 of the Indian Constitution, which is the outcome of his research for the PhD award. He has very clearly stated that. So both part 3 and part 4 of the Indian Constitution are supplementary to each other. And amongst the part 3 of the constitutions, it is interrelated. It is interrelated. For example, if the untouchability is not prohibited, equality cannot be put an end in our society. Or if racial discrimination is not prohibited, then there will be no equality. Or if the adequate representation in the public employment is not actually provided to the poor people or vulnerable sections, as the case may be, that's what actually it is stated, then there will be no equality, as the case may be. So here, the concept of equality plays a very vital role. That's what actually in Ayyappa Swami temple entry case, it is very clearly stated. It is very clear. It's just a tug of war between the so-called established custom since the time immemorial and the doctrine of equality. Doctrine of equality. It says that. It says that. Custom is also a law. Law passed by the parliament is also a law. But court can declare, which custom is rational and which custom is irrational. That's what actually the concept of exclusion was also discussed in this particular case. The concept of exclusion was also discussed in this particular case. Very recently, about just 5 years back, both Indian Dalit Institute Delhi and the Indian Council for Social Science Research, ICSSR, made a study regarding the existence of untouchability in our country. To our surprise, let me make it very clear, to our surprise, even today, more than 70 types of untouchability practice is available in the Indian society. Please refer it. It is available on Google. Article 17 says that. Article 17 says that abolition of untouchability in any form has been abolished, as the case may be. Nevertheless, the study made by Indian Dalit Institute, New Delhi, and the ICSSR made it very clear that the practice of untouchability is available under more than 70 types, as the case may be. This is what actually it is said. Then how can you say that? How can you say that there is a social inclusion? There is a social inclusion. You must make it. And in the year 1955, Civil Rights Act was passed, and to strengthen this Article 17 in the year 1989, again the Civil Rights Act 1955 was actually replaced by SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act, and the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act was also very recently amended in the year 2019, as the case may be. So it says that social inclusion, that actually it says that Article 21 is very, very clear. No person, the term subject or a citizen has not been actually used. It is said that no person shall be deprived of his personal liberty except in accordance with the procedure established by law. I still wanted to bring it to the kind notice of this August Assembly for the purpose of discussions. Majority of the legal experts says that the procedure established by law, the procedure established by law, the procedure established by law. Hey, Banile, you're one second, please. You're Banile, please start. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋಡಿ, ಅದೇನೋ ವೈರಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂತು, ಅದು ಮತ್ತೇನೋ ಬಂತು, ಇದು ನೋಡಿ ಈ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ,
ಸರಿ,
ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅದೇನೋ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಬಂತು. ಅದು